You are floating in space. No suit, no ship, no air, just your body drifting in the most hostile environment that exists. And the question is not whether you die. The question is what kills you first and what it actually feels like while it happens. You probably think you already know the answer. You probably think you explode. You don't. What actually happens is far stranger and far more terrifying because your body fights in ways you never imagined. Let's start with what you've seen in movies. Someone gets blown out of an airlock. Their skin swells. Their eyes pop. They explode into a frozen mess within seconds. None of that is accurate, not even close. In 1966, a NASA technician named Jim LeBlanc was testing a spacesuit inside a vacuum chamber at the Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. The chamber was depressurized to simulate the conditions of space. His suit hose disconnected. For 27 seconds, Jim LeBlanc was exposed to near-vacuum conditions. The pressure dropped to almost zero. He later reported that the last thing he remembered feeling before losing consciousness was the saliva on his tongue beginning to boil. Not because it was hot, because in a vacuum, the boiling point of water drops below body temperature. Your saliva, the moisture on your tongue, the water in your tear film, all of it starts to vaporize at body heat. Jim LeBlanc survived. He was repressurized within a minute. He woke up with an earache. No explosion, no freezing, just a man whose body quietly began to come apart at the molecular level. So here's what actually happens to you. The first thing is your lungs. You have about 10 to 15 seconds of useful consciousness once you're exposed to vacuum. That's not because oxygen disappears from your blood instantly. It's because without outside pressure, the oxygen already dissolved in your blood rushes out of solution. Your lungs can't hold air against zero pressure. Exhaling might actually buy you a few extra seconds, but only a few. The oxygen in your blood gets used up by your brain in roughly 15 seconds. After that, you lose consciousness. You don't thrash around. You don't scream. You fade out. Your brain simply shuts down because it has no fuel. But your body doesn't stop. While your brain is offline, the rest of you is still responding to physics. And this is where it gets strange. Your skin does not explode, but it does swell. In a vacuum, the water in your soft tissues begins to vaporize, and this causes your skin to bloat to roughly twice its normal size. This was confirmed during NASA's animal exposure experiments in the 1960s. Researchers at the Brooks Air Force Base in Texas exposed chimpanzees and dogs to near-vacuum conditions to study what would happen to human astronauts in an emergency. The animals lost consciousness within seconds. Their bodies swelled. But when they were repressurized within 90 seconds, most of them survived and recovered. The swelling reversed. Their bodies returned to near normal. Your skin is elastic enough to hold together in a vacuum. You do not pop. You puff up like a balloon and you stay that way until pressure is restored. Now here's something most people never consider. You don't freeze, at least not immediately. Space is cold, yes. The cosmic background temperature is about -270 degrees Celsius. But cold does not work the way you think it does in space. On Earth, you lose heat through convection, through the movement of air or water molecules around your body. Touch a cold metal railing and heat transfers through conduction. Stand in a cold wind and the moving air pulls heat from your skin. In space, there is no air, there is no water, there is nothing to conduct your heat away. The only way you lose heat in a vacuum is through radiation, your body emitting infrared energy, and that process is slow. Extremely slow. If you are in direct sunlight near Earth, you would actually overheat before you froze. The sun's radiation would cook your sun-facing side to over 120 degrees Celsius, while your shadow side slowly radiated heat away at around -150 degrees Celsius. You would be cooked and frozen at the same time, on opposite sides of your own body. That image should sit with you for a moment. Now, the radiation. If you somehow survived the vacuum, if someone repressurized you within that 90-second window, you would still face radiation damage. Outside Earth's atmosphere, you are exposed to the full spectrum of solar radiation and cosmic rays. The Earth's magnetic field and atmosphere together block most of this. Without them, your DNA starts breaking apart. Ultraviolet radiation from the sun would cause severe sunburn within seconds on any exposed skin. But the real damage comes from galactic cosmic rays, high-energy particles that travel across the universe at nearly the speed of light. These particles pass through your body and shred your DNA strands. A study published in the journal Science in 2018 by researchers at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas found that cosmic radiation causes double-strand DNA breaks, the hardest kind to repair. Even if your body healed from the vacuum exposure, The radiation damage would increase your cancer risk enormously over the following weeks and months. And then there's what happens to your eyes. In a vacuum, the moisture on the surface of your eyes vaporizes almost immediately. Your tear film evaporates. Your cornea, the clear dome at the front of your eye, is made mostly of water. It begins to swell and distort. Your vision would blur within seconds, then go. You wouldn't go blind permanently if you were rescued quickly. The cornea can recover from short vacuum exposure, but in those first moments, your eyes would be dry, swollen, and useless. The NASA animal experiments confirmed this. The dogs and chimps showed corneal swelling and temporary vision impairment after exposure, but the request was rejected because it was considered high risk.